And here is the Writer's Almanac for Friday. It's the 20th of December, 2019.
It's the birthday of the Russian writer Yevgenia Ginsburg, who was born on this day in Moscow, 1904, teacher, journalist. When she was 32, she was arrested in a roundup by the state. Her husband, parents, also arrested. Ginsburg, sentenced as an enemy of the people, served 18 years in prison and forced labor or exile, 10 years in Siberia. She survived to write memoirs of her time in the Gulag, Journey into the Whirlwind and Within the Whirlwind, published abroad, but 12 years after she died in 1977, her books were finally published in the Soviet Union. It's the birthday of the playwright John Fletcher, born in Rye, England, 1579. He wrote for the King's Men, the acting troupe that produced Shakespeare's works. And when John Fletcher died during the plague epidemic 9 years after Shakespeare, he was as famous in England as Shakespeare was. And now nothing of his is performed except Henry VIII, which he collaborated on with William Shakespeare. And it's the birthday of Hortense Calvin, born in New York City, 1911. Father was a manufacturer of soap and perfume. Calvin grew up well-to-do during the Depression, did not try to publish anything until she was almost 40, sent some of her stories to the New Yorker, which published 5 of them. First novel, False Entry, was published in 1961, 600 pages long. After that, she turned out book after book, 23 novels and short story collections. She was 90 years old, Hortense Calvin, when she published her last novel, Sunday Jews, in 2002. And 2 years later, her memoir, Tattoo for a Slave. It's the birthday of the physicist Robert Van de Graaff, inventor of the Van de Graaff generator, a hollow metal globe on a thick hollow pole. Inside the pole, a pair of pulleys drive a belt of silk over a pointed metal comb that's hooked to an external power supply. The comb and one pulley sit at the base of the pole. The second pulley sits inside the globe. And as the belt runs, it builds up large static electric charges, can generate more than 2 million volts on a dry day. Van de Graaff generators popular in science classrooms because when you touch one while it's running, the static charge will lift your hair into a big round halo around your head. It was on this day, 1946, that It's a Wonderful Life was first shown New York City at the Globe Theater. James Stewart as George Bailey, the businessman, feeling unfulfilled, frustrated, decides to commit suicide, but an angel intercedes. And it's the birthday of the novelist Elizabeth Benedict, Hartford, Connecticut, 1952, author of The Beginner's Book of Dreams, Safe Conduct, and other novels, whose advice to writers was work like a maniac because no one else will do it for you, and know that art matters.
Here's a poem by Ron Padgett. You never know. 1, what might happen. 2, how people will behave. 3, anything. 3 rules that live in the house next door. Along comes the big bad philosopher, and at their door he hurls the mighty bolts of lightning from his brain. The door is unimpressed. Behind it, the rules are chuckling. I witness this scene through the kitchen curtains as I rinse the dishes. A poem by Ron Padgett, You Never Know, from a book entitled You Never Know, published by Coffee House Press and used by permission here on the Writer's Almanac. Be well, do good work, and keep in touch.